Welcome back to It's a Vase Productions, where today doing a still game reaction, and since I'm already like a week behind where I wanted to be on finishing up these still game reactions, let's just get to it. We'll talk about it after we watch it. Now remember, Dailymotion link is in the description below, so make sure you click on that, go over to Dailymotion, then when you're done, come back here, talk about it. And we're back. So that was another great episode. I know I've said this before, but I'll watch the episode and I'll be like, that was a good episode. And then I think back and I'm like, they're all pretty great. But this one was great and so unexpected because I can't believe Eric's actually dead. I did not see that coming. I thought that was just going to be a joke at first and he was going to be all right. But it also kind of makes sense in the way that they did this a little bit better, I think, in the early seasons, having like the heavy stuff, the real emotional heavy stuff. Because this one, they kind of cut away from it when they got to those parts. Like when they would sit down to tell the story of Eric, they kind of cut away from that. Back in the earlier season, they would have just had that actual conversation. And that's one of the things that I really liked about the show and do like about this show is there's tons of comedy, but there's also some real emotional stuff like stories, and losing Eric is huge, not just for the show but for them. But like I was saying, it kind of makes sense. They're in a pensioner community, they're older, people are going to be passing away. It's just, you know, and he didn't die in real life. I think someone was telling me he's still alive, but I'll have to check on that. But Eric's one of my favorite characters. He was rarely ever like the main focus, but he's usually like with the group, and then he just does one of the best things ever. I'll never forget when they're all drunk, when like I think it was Jack gets a car, or maybe they both got the car, but Jack was driving. I think he was driving. Whatever. They have a car and they become like the chauffeur for all the drunk people. Maybe Victor was driving, because I think Jack was in the back seat with food. Anyway, Eric is he turns to the people in the back of the car and he's like, hey, have some respect for this man and his vehicle. And then he turns back around and just barfs all over the windshield. And that, I forget which series that's even from, but I know it's one of the earlier ones, and it's always, and he has other great moments too. That's not the only one. That's just the one that always sticks out to me. This episode was a lot of fun. Even besides that, we had some good Naveed and Isa moments, and I forget his wife's name. I think it starts with an M. Anyway, yeah, when she makes the joke about throwing out her dildo, what a great, and he chokes on the noodles. That was perfect. The whole thinking that this guy's the Grim Reaper, I really enjoyed that. Again, it got way more serious than I expected it to. But then they also had some great, it was really humorous, and then they had some great cuts that made it even funnier. Like when he comes in to the wake, basically. Also when Bobby kicks the tribute to Eric, the shrine or whatever, when he kicks that down. That was hilarious. But so when the Undertaker guy comes in and he goes over the sheet and he plays it, he's like, whatever, I'll play it. And then it dies. When he hits the button, I was like, that's too good. And then he looks up from it, and everyone's like just left the room, is just vacated. It's completely empty. That was one of those great cuts. Another one was when they heard him coming up to elevator, and then it cuts to him. It cuts away from them outside their doors, and it cuts to him getting out of the elevator, and then it shows his like point of view. It cuts to and it just shows all their doors closing. Like you don't actually see them go in the doors. All you see is the doors closing. So there was definitely some good humor through the editing of the show, which I think there always has been. I just happen to notice it more in this viewing, I guess. In this episode, yeah, there was a lot of that good stuff. But Winston with this One Direction thing, the One Direction story, the only way, no talent fannies are going to get in front of me. Oh, that was epic. That was great. So yeah, a lot of fun in this episode. I'm definitely glad that I'm checking out the later series, and I don't want to jinx it, but I am trying to do it more. Every time I actually sit down and watch it, I have such a good time, and it's so much fun, and I'm like, why don't you do this more often? And part of the reason is because I've been very busy. I've had several jobs that I've been working on and freelance work. And I've also started working, I could tell you now, I've started working for a virtual reality comedy club / talent agency. They host virtual reality events. The main thing they do right now is a comedy club called Failed to Render. And I've been editing some videos for them, and I'm going to be doing more work with them in the future. They're actually the official representatives of Kenan Thompson. He has a comedy competition that he runs. This is going to be the first time ever they're going to have a VR side of the competition, and Failed to Render is who it's going through. So that's kind of a big deal. We also just had Howie Mandel visited the comedy club, and I put a lot of work into this video, which I edited for Failed to Render. They just kept sending me clips, and I'd, get it together. So what I want you to do, the link to that video is in the description. If you can go to the Failed to Render YouTube page and like the video and subscribe and comment on the video, Vase sent me here, or something like that. Like, I'm here for Vase, like Vase sent me here. Say something like that, and if you could subscribe and like it, I would really appreciate that. If you're interested in the comedy club itself, there's a show every single night, every weekday, Monday through Friday. Now, it's not great timing for you people in the UK, so I'm just throwing that out there. But there is a show every night, and you don't necessarily have to have a VR headset to because I don't have a VR headset, but you can, and I'll put the link to this too, but I think it's called AltSpace. It's just a program for Windows or Mac, I think. And then you can get that on your computer, and you can go to this comedy club, and it's just like being at a comedy club, just in virtual reality. So it's pretty cool. Big things are on the way with that. So like I said, Howie Mandel's in that video I was editing. Kenan Thompson, we're working with him. There's some pretty big names. Kenan just hosted the Emmys. Howie Mandel is on all those reality shows. So we're making some big moves. And if you just go, you can look it up on anywhere. You just search Failed to Render. If you can search it on Facebook, they have a whole Facebook page that lists all the events if you're interested in that. Okay, if you're not interested, I get it. But even if you're not interested, if you could do me the favor of going to the video that's linked, the Howie Mandel video that I made, if you can go there, subscribe to their page, like it, and just say something like Vase sent me, I'll look like a superstar to these people. Okay, because we are kind of like still a growing company. We're kind of small at the time, so if I was brought in later too. But if I can get like a bunch of people over there and being like, and I'll just become like a hero. And maybe, anyways, that's something that's been keeping me busy. But I had so much fun watching this episode that I really want to get back into it and do it more often. And I've got other things beyond Still Game to watch and react to. So I've got even more stuff to do. You guys have given me some recommendations, but I still haven't finished Still Game, so I feel pressured to do that. If I'm gonna put something up today, it's got to be Still Game. I got to do that. I'm behind, so it's on my mind. I'm thinking about it. I want to get to it. I just am busy at the moment, so do what I can. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching me, subscribing to me, supporting me, and tuning in to watch Still Game with me, because it is such a phenomenal show, and I'm looking forward to and dreading the end of it. That's probably also why I'm dragging my feet. It's because once it's done, it's really done. But we'll get there, and hopefully soon. So, all right, that's it I think that's all I got for right now. So, see you next time.